So welcome. Pauline she became a prayer chaplain soon after joining Unity of London in 2012. She's a published writer, certified life and communications coach, and a distinguished active Toastmaster. Pauline is a past president of the Unity of London board, a licensed Unity teacher, and the spiritual leader for Unity of London. Her talk today will explore the many ways of giving and receiving love and practical how-tos for moving mindfully beyond our ego challenges into love-changing habits. Welcome, Pauline.
Cheryl.
I'm going to start sharing.
And record, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What I was trying to also do is have you speaker. Where do I do that? Yeah.
First one. First option there.
Perfect. Thank you.
And you put yourself though. Put yourself as the speaker.
Oh, but I'm not coming up as the speaker.
You have to put yourself so where you are.
Oh.
Go to your window. The three little dots. There should be a spotlight. Spotlight for everyone right there.
What would I do with without all these wonderful people around me? Thank you. Welcome to the meeting report. Yes. And we record the talk and the meditation, as this is something that we do put on our website. So just know that if you don't want to be on screen. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. And many thanks to Paul, Marie-France, and Mark, and anybody else here who supported technology. I myself count on other people for technology. I don't know about you. My talk title is called The Many Faces of Love. I invite you right now to look around this room, and those at Unity to look around at the people close to you. Just take a really good look at them. These are faces of love. I have a little wee mirror that always goes on my refrigerator. And in case you can't read it, if you're back there, I can see you peering, Paul. It says, looks good to me. I've had that for a long, long, long time. What I suggest you do is get a little mirror, attach it to your fridge, but it doesn't have to say looks good to me. I'd like you to put on it, looks loving to me. Because when you look at yourself first thing in the morning, ladies, if you're there brushing your teeth, muddling around with your hair, unless you're smart, unless you're smart like someone in this room who got rid of all their hair, fiddling around with your hair, or whatever you're doing, look in that mirror and say, looks loving to me. Because once we love ourselves, we can express that love to other people. Now, I'm not saying every day you're going to wake up with a great big smile. I know people who can dance with joy. They are exhilarated all the time, always up, always with a positive vibe. If you're saying, well, that's not me, enter the real world. We may not always feel up. This message is about how to share our love, how to feel loving, most of all, how to receive love. It's not just about giving. It's reciprocal. It's about giving and receiving. Whenever I prepare a message, I always look up what other people I admire have said about that topic. And one of my favorite authors that I was reading as a teenager, and some of you may know this author's name, is Leo Buscaglia. It was called The Author of Love. I was going to bring the book, it's all yellow from age. And there's a picture on Leo Buscaglia hugging. He's a big man with lots of black hair. And this is what he said. Too often, we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word. The smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to cost you 1 single cent. When you go shopping, grocery shopping or plant shopping, whatever kind of shopping, it's your interaction with the fellow shoppers, with the clerk, with a tired-looking mother who has little babies in a carriage, and you stop and give a little nod or a smile, or maybe a thumbs up. Guess what will happen? You will feel love coming back at you full blast. Those are the opportunities that arise so often. Mother Teresa, who is a saint in the Catholic Church and a wondrous figure of love to everybody else who'd never even gone into a Catholic church, said this: intense love does not measure. It gives. We don't keep track of what we give. We don't say, oh, well, all right, I'll give a personal example. Marie Frost always comes on a Friday because I'm at Unity. And she knows that most people aren't there on a Friday afternoon, so she comes to keep me company. She was always bringing me a hot chocolate until I said, Marie Frost, I love hot chocolate, but I already have it on Friday morning. You don't have to bring it. So she stopped bringing it. That was love. That was kindness. That was caring. Mother Teresa goes on to say, the smile is the beginning of love. That's why when you look in that mirror that you created that said, what does it say? You tell me. Looks.
Loving unto me.
I beg your pardon?
Looks loving unto me.
All right, Ottawa people, they are hollering out, looks loving to me. What are they saying in Ottawa? I hope they're saying, looks loving to me. If you go around with a grumpy face, and I'm not saying you have to smile all the time, it would look phony. Some people, it's just easy to smile. But if you look in that mirror and say, looks loving to me, you figure out what looks loving and then look that way. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see nods here at Unity of Kitchener. She also said, the poverty of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for is the greatest poverty. You never know who you will meet who is feeling that day unloved. Could be the clerk who's worn out, who looks grumpy, and the first thought in your mind comes, ugh, that clerk looks pretty grumpy to me, so you look grumpy back. Who does that help? In your heart, you might say, maybe she's had a rotten day. Maybe she's tired. Maybe she's worn out. Maybe she'd rather be home with her kids. And you give a little smile and say thank you. Not big, but important. If you judge people, you've got no time to love them. And that's a big one for me. I don't know about you, sometimes I feel judgmental. The definition of love in Buddhism is unconditional love. wanting others to be happy, period. Not on our terms, just wanting them to be happy. And the mere temptation is to strive for attachment. Buddhists are saying, you don't have to attach, just love and let go. All right, I'm going to do a gesture right now, and I don't know if people online can see it, but this is in tribute to Norma and her butterfly. If you don't know, Norma's sitting right here. People at Unity know Norma has a beautiful butterfly tattoo on her arm. And I saw it at the beginning. So if there is a time when you think, ugh, I don't feel very loving, I'm down in the dumps, you might try this gesture. And if you're here at Unity of Kitchen, you want to stand up and try it. Oh, you're so good. You're so good. Unity of Ottawa can try it also. So if I stand here, will they see you?
You have to face the camera.
Oh, well, I won't face the camera. All right, it looks like this. You bend down a little bit with hands near your knees. You reach your arms up like a butterfly. Then you reach your arms up shoulder high. And you bend down. Oh, now you're all the way up. And you can try it again. Like a butterfly, gradually learning to show love. You're feeling down in the dumps, blue. Facing down, hands up a bit. Down again. Oh, I guess this time I showed some love, I got a little bit higher. Oops, sorry. This time I got all the way up, soaring. And bravo to all of you who did that. Yay. So that's the caterpillar emerging. Professional people last a lot of children because we think of who has children in their lives as grandchildren or their neighbor child or a baby. Nobody? I should have said hands up and forgot. So they were asked, how could you describe love? And Nikki, age 6, said, this is pretty profound. If you want to learn to love better, you should start with the friends you hate. You might say, well, I don't hate my friends. Sometimes they hate you, right? Jessica, age 8, said, you really shouldn't say, I love you, unless you mean it. But if you mean it, you should say it a lot, because people forget. At Unity, our hugs may say, I love you. And I'll share a story later about someone who never worried about whispering into my ear, I love you. A Unity member. There was a 4-year-old child whose next door neighbor, an elderly gentleman, had recently lost his wife. And the little boy went over to the yard one day when he saw the neighbor crying. He climbed into the old man's lap and he just sat there. Later, his mom said, what did you say? The little boy said, nothing. I just helped him cry. And sometimes that's all we need to do. That's love. And there is a story, a Buddhist story, of an ant that was swimming around in a tub of water. And somebody went up and saw the ant swimming in the water and went, whoosh. No more ant. Then another ant came along and swam around in the water. And someone walked up and said, "There's an ant." "Oh, well, it's not bothering me." And then someone came up and saw an ant swimming in the tub. And they thought, maybe the ant wants a little teeny bit of sugar. Gave the sugar. Of course, it's an allegory. Is it enough to just tolerate people? No. Love is about nourishing. Nourishing in the way that you believe they need to be nourished. And when we regard people filled with despair, and we want to show love, we want to show that we care, we need to be empathetic to what they can tolerate from us and what they need from us, not what we feel good about doing. We can overwhelm people. Here, 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 I'm here to help you. And they may be, ooh, back off a bit. I know at our unity, we taught our greeters to first say, "Would you like a hug?" Because there are people, there's nothing wrong with them, they just, hugs aren't for them. I am going to share something that a friend of my cousin Roger sent to me a few weeks after my cousin had died. And it's so relatable to how we interact with people who walk into our unity communities. We know that Jesus is our wayshower. And we need to figure out, if Jesus was here right now, how would he greet people walking in? And it's from a man's perspective. So to the men in the room right now, but to the women also, to everybody who's in this room now and in Ottawa, see if this resonates with you in your unity community. I showered and shaved. I adjusted my tie. I got there and sat in a pew just in time, bowing my head in prayer. I closed my eyes. I saw the shoe of the man next to me touching my own. I sighed. With plenty of room on either side, I thought, why must our sides touch? Why must our souls touch? It bothered me, his shoe touching mine, but it didn't bother him much. A prayer began. Our Father. I thought, this man with the shoes has no pride. They're dusty, worn, and scratched. Even worse, there are holes on the side. Thank you for blessings, the prayer went on. The shoe man said a quiet amen. I tried to focus on the prayer, but my thoughts were on the shoes again. Aren't we supposed to look our best when walking through that door? Well, this certainly isn't it, I thought, glancing toward the floor. Then the prayer was ended, and the song of praise began. The shoe man was certainly loud, sounding proud as he sang. His voice lifted the rafters. His hands were lifted high. The Lord could surely hear the shoe man's voice from the sky. It was time for the offering, and what I threw in was steep. I watched as the shoe man reached deep into his pockets, so deep. and I heard a soft clink as when silver hits tin. The sermon really bored me to tears, that's no lie. It was the same for the shoe man, for tears fell from his eyes. At the end of the service, as is the custom here, we must greet new visitors and show them all good cheer. But I felt moved somehow. And wanted to meet the shoe man. So after the closing prayer, I reached over and stuck out my hand. I shook his hand. He was old. His skin was dark and his hair was truly a mess. But I thanked him for coming, for being our guest. He said, "My name's Charlie. I'm glad to meet you, my friend." There were tears in his eyes, but he had a large, wide grin. "Let me explain," he said, wiping tears from his eyes. "I've been coming here for months, and you're the first one to say hi. I know that my appearance is not like all the rest, but I really do try. I always look my best. I always clean and I swallowed to hide my tears." As he continued to apologize for daring to sit so near, he said, "When I get here, I know I must look a sight, but I thought if I could touch you, then maybe our souls might unite." I was silent for a moment, knowing whatever was said it would pale in comparison. I spoke from my heart, not my head. "Oh, you have touched me," I said, "and taught me in part that the best of any man is what is found in his heart. The rest," I thought, "the shoe man will never know, like just how thankful I really am that his dirty old shoe touched my soul." And I don't know who walks in here, but I know who walks into our unity. And we have a dear friend who comes in and he doesn't wear his best clothes. I don't think he has best clothes. And I brought a little towel because I love props. And all right, I'll show it to the people. Might look back to front. It will. I don't know if you can read that. It says sunshine state of mind. So the people here can read it, I think. Sunshine state of mind is really a state of love, is it not?
It's called butterfly.
And we know that every day is a fresh start. Every moment's a fresh start. So if you had a time today and you weren't loving, you can start over again. I promised that I would share about our dear friend, Dorothy. And Dorothy, we were blessed to know Dorothy at Unity of London. Sweet, sweet, quiet. I never heard her say a nasty word, never heard her look grumpy. She would hug, this gentle, sweet hug, and she loved to hug everybody. But some people she hugged longer. She always hugged me longer, and I felt special. And she wore hearing aids. And so I would hug her, and I could hear her hearing aid in my ear. And I would say, I hear your hearing aid. And Dorothy would say, that's okay, it's singing in your ear. She loved music. We have a music concert every Wednesday night with our wondrous music director, Jim Chapman. And Dorothy would come sit in the second or third row. She'd be tapping her foot, snapping her fingers, swaying to the music. Dorothy was like the size of Maureen, just a slim person. And then she was in a car accident, and as time went by, Dorothy was getting thinner, and she couldn't speak anymore. But she had a little pad of paper, and so she would, like a little whiteout pad. So she would write a little message and show it to us. And in our book study, she would do that. She would hold it up to the screen, and sometimes we couldn't quite see it. And so she couldn't speak. I went to visit Dorothy a week ago last Wednesday. And I'd never been to her house before, so of course I got lost in my apartment. She knew when I would be arriving, and I could see her in the doorway, this thin little body, and she was going, make sure I get into the house okay. I did, I parked, and her husband Jim left us to sit on the sofa together. And here's sweet little Dorothy, is even by now thinner. And we hugged a lot. And when I hugged her, I could feel all the little bones in her back. And she whispered in my ear, and I whispered in her ear. And she wrote a little message on her pad. And she said, so SOOOOOOO, glad to see you. I love you, Pauline. So I whispered in her ear some more. And then she wrote a message. Oh, she did show me her arm. Now, I've got pretty thin arms. Her arm was half the size of my arm. And she said, look at my arm, it's so thin. So we came up with, I whispered some more in her ear. And then she said, now I understand. She printed, not said. Now I understand, exclamation mark. Outside is shrinking. Inside is blooming.
Wow.
And she drew a little picture of a flower with little leaves and a little heart inside the flower. Dorothy and I both knew that she was going to be gone soon. And she did die the following Sunday. She made her transition. That memory will always stay in my heart. Dorothy will stay in the hearts of all of us at Unity, because she showed unconditional love. Always. Unconditional love takes courage. It takes self-acceptance, the acceptance of where we are right now, this moment. And I invite you again to look at each other here in Kitchener, or there in Ottawa, and just look at the faces of love in this room. They are faces of love. They are faces that give us love, that allow us to give them love. We are blessed. I could have talked more about Jesus today. I talked about people instead. The people who have Jesus as their wayshower. The people who follow love teachings. Who show love in their actions. And I invite you right now to just visualize for a moment. And we will, well, let's go into meditation. We will do it right now, sure. Right. So, I invite you to feel grounded in this wondrous room at Unity Kitchener that has brilliant curtains that are red, orange, yellow, purple, and blue. And they are representing acceptance, unity, LGBTQ, the wondrous acceptance. There are raindrops, there are little flowering cans and birds and windows that let the sun shine through. And you're saying, this doesn't sound like meditation to me, Pauline. Yes, it is. It's for the Unity of Ottawa people and anybody online who hasn't been to this room yet. Wherever you are right now, just touch your heart space. And in that heart space, you breathe in gratitude for all the people who have ever loved you. Maybe parents, teachers, grandparents, friends, fellow workers, students, the person in the store who smiled at you even though they'd already waited on 100 people. You envision yourself hearing the words of Jesus. The greatest of these is love. Love one another. And you imagine yourself showing love, being love, exchanging love with the people you meet. The glow of love is like gentle sunshine, flowing all through your whole body, brightening up the little clouds that might have been there. Mingled with faith and wisdom. Your love is like a light in this world. You are love in this world. Just give you a few moments and quiet. And remember, blessed are those who give love. Blessed are those who receive love. When you look in that mirror, you're looking at the loving face shining back at you, that face that will go out into our community and share love in whatever way you can. And so it is. And so we rejoice in letting it be. Amen.